This week on New to You, Do-Gooders Part 3.
Matt Damon!
Gang, welcome to the third in our series of Do-Gooders. I'm one of your hosts, John Holt. With me is
Keith Vincent.
Julian Cage.
And our returning guest,
Matt Rodriguez.
All right, so we have done a couple of tougher, more graphic picks up to this point. And we're going to roll into our third do-gooder. Before we get into that, this is a show about introduction. We are showing you things that we are interested in or excited about, and it may not be the newest property in the world, but we want to share it around, and it might be new to some people. So this is our perspective on it, and you may go find it yourself again and get your perspective on it.
There's a lot out there for people to see. You need people like us to you, to guide you by the hand.
We're the gatekeepers.
No, we're not the gatekeepers. We're leading
you
like
through the park. Internet for blind people.
We vet all of this content extremely.
No. We're the anti-algorithm, okay? The algorithm's going to tell you, if you liked this movie, you should watch this movie. But we say, no. Forget all that.
That's right. We're human curated.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But the key is that we won't let anything untoward toward you. We're going to extremely...
That's not true.
We're going to extremely vet every piece of content that comes through the borders into your media space.
And by vetting, we mean we'll watch it at least once.
Yeah, or at least read some notes about it or watch the trailer.
Before an episode.
All right, so...
at least one of us on the panel will have watched The Thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Maybe. At one point, if we can...
Yeah, but the bets are off for books, guys.
We just listened to somebody who read it once. They tell us what's going on.
About it. Yeah. What was Harry Potter like?
All right, so Keith, you're up. Why don't you take it away this week?
What I'm about to tell you, it involves something very large.
Everyone in this country is a victim of corporate crime by the time they finish breakfast.
Yes. Things are going on I don't approve of. I mean, I feel real bad about that. Corn goes in one end and profit comes out the other. Weird, right? It's not just
So Do-Gooders was kind of a hard one because...
The world is a horrible place full of evil people.
No. There are lots and lots of do-gooders, but kind of based on the manifesto of our show, I found it kind of hard. And I knew Jules was doing a documentary, so I didn't want to dig up some documentary on like Doctors Without Borders or something like that.
Willy Wonka.
Real do-gooders that are out there like really helping people. So instead,
you scrape the bottom of the barrel.
No, I wouldn't. No. Let me. I wouldn't say it's the bottom of the barrel, but I will say that I chose a guy who's the kind of very, white American version of do-gooders in that he's a philanthropist and thank you for all the money he's giving to good causes, but it's the very like white guy version of like, hey, I was on this film shoot in Africa and I saw their water was bad, so I'm going to start a thing and give them money to get water.
Or I'm going to protect this Great Wall.
Yeah, exactly. From dragons?
From Asian people being cast in a movie about China?
No. It makes sense why he's there.
I don't know. I didn't see the movie. I bet it's awesome. Anyway, I'm talking about Matt Damon.
Yes.
Matt Damon.
Also known as Ip Man.
Anyway, no, that's a different movie. So Matt Damon,
also known as Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Right.
Matt Damon, you might have known him as Will Hunting
Jack
from Good Will
Reacher.
Hunting, as Jason Bourne from those accountant movies,
Donnie from Donnie Darko,
as the talented Mr. Ripley,
the Manchester by the Sea,
as Private Ryan,
that guy from Clerks,
as the dude from Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 8 is all women.
And best of all, what you might know him most as is from the voice of Spirit, the stallion of Cimarron.
And as the dragon in Dragonheart.
No. Anyway, the reason I bring him up is because I wanted to recommend something that people hopefully would enjoy. And as much as I absolutely was moved and loved the recommendation that Jules brought to the table, and as much as I was I don't know, like part of the kind of 90s kid in me really enjoyed Jules, what Holt talked about a couple weeks ago. I kind of wanted to, have somebody watch something that I could recommend, as opposed to just being like recommending something. Instead of recommending something to people that I know would be into this type of very specific stuff, I wanted to kind of have a broader recommendation. So I'm mostly going to talk about the movie The Informant that Matt Damon was in, but I also want to talk about what a great career this guy's, like what a great career moves made. A little bit about him.
And the do-goody stuff.
Yeah, yes, and along the way, so much do-gooding. And honestly, dude's got quite a resume on the do-gooding. I don't mean to undercut like what a philanthropist he is. It's pretty remarkable.
He also has a very interesting interaction with, like, he's not a, what is that called, a tabloid star for being as big as he is.
Yeah.
He's got a very much like, I'm a boring dude leading a normal life kind of thing. Like, he's not, he doesn't chase controversy or play any of those games, and he doesn't get publicized as that. So there's less grist for the mill with Matt Damon.
Well, I don't know if he's just lucky in that his career didn't need that, or if he has
he's made the choice. I've seen some interviews.
Yeah, because the George Clooney's and the Matt Damons of the world, you hear these celebrities being interviewed and they're like, oh, but the paparazzi or whatever, and I kind of feel like, I think that's kind of a choice that a lot of people make, is to make themselves somewhat available in that way. Because Matt Damon, if he goes to LA, you don't see him on TMZ. He doesn't pop up on TMZ.
Yeah,
George Clooney doesn't pop up on TMZ. I feel like that's kind of a give and take relationship that a lot of stars kind of have to play in order to keep their notoriety. And these guys are a little above it somehow. I don't know.
I think they've also managed to. I think you really get in deep on that when you get into some kind of uber relationship drama. It's like when
some of those are public.
It's when two stars collide. That's when it tends to then they become a focal point to the paparazzi, and then they forever are this ongoing story, even if they've been apart for years.
Pitt, Brangelina scandal. And some of that stuff too is, it's because, maybe this is a normal relationship now, but 3 relationships ago, the publicist was throwing out stories and throwing out leaks about Brad Pitt and so-and-so, or Angelina and so-and-so. And
they tried to take advantage of it, and then it came
basically
back to haunt them.
They build the momentum to keep them in the public
and then it
eye.
falls out of their control.
Right. Whereas I think that some people like Matt Damon didn't go that route.
And maybe because they didn't need to. That's the other thing. I feel like that certain people play that game because it's a part of they have to for their career to work. Like the Paris Hiltons of the world, that is their career. Yeah.
I think too. He's not because basically he came up and is very close to Ben Affleck, obviously, and Ben Affleck became a tabloid star for a while, although I guess it was mostly through his relationship with J-Lo. But
yeah.
I don't know. I guess, do you think he's still paparazzi'd?
Who?
Affleck?
Yeah.
Well, he's married. You're based on your thing of 2 stars, like he and Jennifer Garner were married for a while, but I think that they didn't. You didn't hear a lot about that until they
might have still
divorced.
Popped up on people from time to time.
Yeah,
or whatever,
I think what you get to is where.
But I think it's because he's more the handsome, heartthrob, whereas Matt Damon is not as much. I think maybe that's part of why he's.
I think the other side too is he got. His stuff got publicized, that whether it's J-Lo's publicist putting out there or whatever, and then people get a hunger for that, and then that's going to sell more photos, and it's going to self-propagate. And so when he gets into his next relationship, people are buying, you're just going to keep doing the tried and true. You're going to keep buying or selling photos of Matt Damon and his next relationship and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
At a certain point, him and Jennifer Garner fell off the thing for a while because he was in a normal
so
relationship.
Boring.
Yeah,
having
and maybe
kids
that,
and stuff.
You're right. It's probably because his regular life is boring.
No, I still fall back on my theory that it's a choice, that this is a thing that people are. So going back to he was born and raised in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So that accent's real in The Departed. His dad's a stockbroker. His mom's a public school teacher. He ended up going to Harvard for a little while in 1998, but he never finished school there, oddly. But around 1988, he was acting a lot, and in '88 he got his first kind of big on-screen role. It's not that big, but he got his first kind of screen time in the movie Mystic Pizza. And then his real breakthrough came, 11 years later when he and Ben Affleck famously wrote the screenplay and starred in the movie Good Will Hunting, which is who's the director?
Gus Van Sant.
Van Sant, thank you. And directed by Gus Van Sant, and the movie is, in my opinion, definitely one of the classics of that era. I love that movie.
But check out Hunting Good Will by Lars von Trier, one of my favorite movies.
Anyway, so from there, it's kind of neat to plot the trajectory of two stars who kind of started on the same footing, with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and kind of like plotting their choices and where they went, and it's pretty interesting because Ben Affleck, who honestly of the two is the more dashing, like traditionally handsome of the pair, I think that's safe to say, and the kind of roles that they went in the paths they took in there, Ben Affleck ended up going the kind of heartthrob, big leading man type of roles, and
it's also he's part of the like insurance dynasty. Like the Afflecks are all over.
Right, when you have the safety of that cushion,
right.
Then you're just going after the stardom.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get under the shadow of that duck, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's his uncle. Can you believe that? Yeah.
The duck that lays the golden eggs.
So when Affleck was out there making these big romantic comedies, what's his name, Matt Damon, was making, I think, really good movie choices. So like the next big movie after Good Will Hunting was Rounders, which is definitely a smaller film. A really interesting movie and an acting tour de force. I mean, he really had to act very well, and it's a really good performance. And then from there, Saving Private Ryan. So he got in with the Spielberg, you know what I mean. And then from there, Talented Mr. Ripley, Ocean's 11 was in there somewhere, and then of course, boom goes the dynamite. You get in the Jason Bourne movies, and then it's all over.
The rest is history.
Mm-hmm. That's when you get the Departed along the way. Voiceovers for Titan AE, just so many great films. But
Jay
anyway,
and Silent Bob Strike Back.
That's right. Yeah, doing Ben Affleck's old buddy Kevin Smith a favor.
Brothers Grimm with Batman's villain.
Well, The Brothers Grimm is not that great a movie, but you have to if you are Matt Damon, you have to be in that movie because it's like Terry Gilliam. So you're like, of course I'm going to be in a movie that Terry Gilliam directs. You know what I mean? Like, yes, please.
And let's not forget his amazing star turn in Team America World Police.
Yes.
Where the only reason because the puppet came back looking so mentally damaged that they were just like, okay, we'll just keep it and do Matt Damon.
He only says his name in the movie, and it's not him.
So they didn't have some...
Or is it? Because they're pals with George Clooney.
It wasn't him, though.
It wasn't him. And they weren't just like, they weren't like, let's make this character and make it him write it like this. They were just like, oh, this puppet looks like damaged.
So what he's referring to is the movie Team America World Police by Trey Parker and Matt Stone came out. I don't remember when. But
No me gusta.
2005 or 4 or something.
I think part of the reason he was selected was, I think, because of his... because he was known as a
humanitarian, yeah.
And because
it was
kind of lampooning, I think, the idea
Hollywood elite.
And the idea of Hollywood, of like movie stars saving the world kind of thing. So he was part of that group in the film. Anyway.
And they didn't take it easy on him or any of them.
No.
And it must be noted that we have like maybe 3 degrees of separation for Matt Damon.
How so?
His mother was a early childhood education professor at Lesley University.
Oh wow! There we go.
that really.
And we graduated from
a school that was later absorbed by
that became Lesley University. Yeah.
and my girlfriend is going to grad school with a friend of ours who knew him and Ben Affleck.
Oh, cool.
No, actually, I'm sorry. It's our neighbor. I got him mixed up. Our neighbor.
Story's got holes in it,
Went to
Jules.
school with them, and she says, Casey Affleck is an asshole.
Ah.
She speaks from personal experience.
Oh, well, so the allegations might have some truth to them.
She
Anyway, he's good in Good Will Hunting, and he's good in the Ocean's 11 movies. Casey Affleck.
He's there.
So I'm going back on Matt Damon, Matt Affleck. So tell me about this Matt Affleck. No, what was the film that has something to do with fracking? Was it?
Yeah, I think it's called Promised Land.
Promised Land.
I really
With
like
John
that.
Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski and him. I think it might be a Linklater film. Somebody like that made that film. That movie I thought was a nice little surprise as well.
Okay.
With a little twist. Had a little twist in it.
Interesting.
One you're not expecting.
It was Aaron Brockovich the entire time.
And
She poisoned the well.
And that film I've been like meaning to watch forever, but I still haven't got around to it.
Gus Van Sant.
Gus Van Sant made Promised Land. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And
Soundtrack, Elliott Smith. He didn't die. He was
lives
alive
on.
the whole time, and that's the twist.
Yep.
Oh.
He's Tyler Durden. But getting
somewhat,
getting back on track, you know, over his career, Matt Damon got to basically pick and choose these great movies with all these great people. So I mean, he really I think he made some amazingly good choices, and his longevity has proved it. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, we're talking about do-gooders, and I'm gonna get into some of the things that Matt Damon has done, and then I'm gonna circle it all back to The Informant just a little bit. His first big charity that he started was called H2O Africa, basically a foundation set up to try to find new ways to get clean water to the poorest people in Africa. That later merged with this group called the Water Partners, and now has become this really big organization called water.org, which is still out there working, still hopefully saving lives and quenching thirst. He and a bunch of the guys from the Ocean's 11 group started a group called Not on Our Watch, which is a big organization that is, their aspect of it is mostly on fundraising and raising awareness. But they did also, they started these foundations. So Not on Our Watch is a group that's basically a spotlight group to hopefully shine light on these big, vast atrocities before they become the next Darfur situation. Yeah. And that's still ongoing. He's one of the people that started a group called 1x1 or 1x1. It's a group. It's a charity / foundation that is there to help small children of poverty throughout North America and Central America. He's very active on the One campaign, which is the AIDS, helping to stop AIDS, and he's the spokesperson for Feeding America, which is another organization that try to help feed poverty-stricken children. He's an unofficial spokesperson simply because his mother was a school teacher for the and this is one of the things that I like most. I mean, listen, this is silly to say, I like this aspect of the things he does well better than others, but this is the thing that drew my attention to his philanthropic work, that he's kind of an outspoken spokesperson for public schools and funding of public schools in America, which is a thing that I consider very sacred. And honestly, right now, it's going to need all the advocates it can get. Maybe that's why he's not in the tabloids, because he's so busy with all these kind of foundations and doing all this good that he just
stuff.
never.
He's actually busy. Then.
Yeah. He doesn't have time to step out of limos.
You also have to remember, like, Matt 4, Damon 5, 9.
Yeah, 9.
9, 3 threes. 3 squared, 9. 3 threes. 3 times 2, 6. 3 sixes, 666. Matt Damon.
Wow.
See?
This is why I wanted to talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Matt Damon just should shut up and act. You know?
Yeah.
He should just stop doing all that stuff and just
Listen,
act like
man.
Matt Damon.
We're gonna pay you to just be on a movie and dance like a clown for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Tambourine Man.
Because like, the last thing this country needs is is a celebrity trying to be a politician.
I know.
Yeah.
Telling us what to think.
Yeah, like Jeff Sessions, you cowboy, you beautiful man. So tell us about this Quantum Leap episode that he was in.
It was cool because what happened was the Quantum Leap guy woke up and he was in another body. It wasn't his body. He was in and he didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
And he needed.
I just started watching Quantum Leap recently on like one of those channels.
Ion channel or something.
Yeah, it's on like a free channel over the air
with
channel.
your digital antenna.
With my digital antenna.
The one I'm thinking of is the one. It's
wow,
Matt Damon
this
plays
is
a
amazing.
second character.
Yeah.
So Sam jumps into an FBI agent. And he's trying to solve this case against Big Corn, and he gets this guy who's informing against.
That's good. That's a good episode.
That's
that
why.
right, mister? Is that the one?
That's why he's wearing a suit the whole time.
Yeah.
What was in his hat? As long as he's wearing a hat, he can go through doors and go to heaven.
I think that's the one I saw.
Bringing it all back around, Holt's talking about the movie The Informant from 2009, directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Sotomayor.
What's our consensus here on how to pronounce it? Jules.
Soderbergh.
Mr.
Soderbergh.
Ruth
Holt.
Bader Ginsburg.
So I'm gonna go with Soderbergh. I thought it was Soderbergh. I'm gonna go with Soderbergh.
Soderbergh.
So Matt Damon worked with Soderbergh on all the Ocean's movies. He worked on the Candelabra movie, the Liberace movie. He's the two have been good together. The Informant was this just oddball, weird movie based on a true story about a real life case of this one guy bringing down this huge company called ADM, which is still a huge company. And this one guy just gathered so much information, this really weird and mysterious guy ended up gathering a lot of information on them to try to save himself.
That's the one he gained weight for,
Yeah, he gained a lot of weight
and
for
he had
that.
a
Yep.
mustache. He looked awesome in it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I would recommend people to see this movie and go into it with kind of a clean slate, because just let the movie wash over you. It's really interesting in that it's the whole time because it's all narrated and told from the point of view of the Matt Damon character, who, as we go through it, you realize is just lying to everyone, sometimes for no reason. Like the whole movie, he's lying to people the whole time.
Right.
And after a while, you're like, is he lying to us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't.
Right.
And
He's
it's
like, my crowds were the biggest crowds that have ever been. My ratings were the biggest ratings.
Anyway, it's a it's a really good movie, really great cast, and it's just a really fun ride. I would recommend going to see it. And while you're watching it, just think, gee whiz, this is a star that I'm allowed to like, because he's really trying to use his money to help people.
I feel like it's a slightly odd movie in the same vein as last
Bernie?
pick,
Bernie,
as
yeah,
Bernie, which you
yeah.
brought up last episode.
It is. Both of those movies are,
They're both based on,
Well, they should
on real
come-
and they're both
oddball
quirky in the
characters,
same, in
They
similar
should have a
ways.
sequel to both. That they, like the
Maybe
two
maybe
worlds
it's happening.
meet.
Or they just
No,
spend
it
a
can't
weekend
happen.
together.
No, it can't happen.
in Texas.
Soderbergh's not making films anymore. He's just making stuff for like TV and HBO and stuff. For real.
They can do
Yeah.
a
He
then they just do a
retired, right? He
series.
retired from movies.
Yeah.
It's Bernie's passes away when he's visiting, and they have to pretend that he's alive this whole time.
And the Adjustment Bureau has to come and,
Yep.
and bring Jason Bourne back from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want like an Avengers type thing where they.
But it's like the whole weekend
Yeah,
is trying to
it's the Matt Damon universe.
Yep.
Matt Damon.
the Dameverse. But I would kind of tie
That
informant
demon verse.
the informant thing, to tie it back to the topic a little bit, actually is about a guy who puts himself forward as doing something really altruistic and like being, the guy's a crazy narcissist, but he's trying to take down this big company.
He's not though.
So he says.
So he only ends up being an informant because he gets caught doing bad
Right.
stuff. But then he later tries to kind of take control of the story and claim that he's like this really, he's been an agent all along and stuff.
Right.
It's really.
But he's kind of telling you, as the unreliable narrator, he's telling you that he's this good guy. He's this super spy superhero doing good in the world. And it's interesting to have someone
who's really doing that in real life,
telling you this message, and then
it's almost like he doesn't even have to act. He just kind of tells his life story.
And then you have like the actions that he's actually doing, and sort of through the lens of the other people, how that story's really playing out, which is pretty neat.
Yeah. It's very meta. Very meta. So did any of you guys see The Informant?
I did. I've
yeah.
seen it
Did you
before.
see it, Julian?
I saw it a long time ago, so I don't remember it too good.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the movie other than that long fake rant that you just did about how?
No, that was a real rant about the altruism. No, I think that he's the character. Matt Damon's character is putting himself out. Like he has no self-awareness, and so the character is just out. Like he doesn't really understand that the choices he's making are putting himself in a bad position. He thinks he can do no wrong to some degree.
Well, he thinks he's smarter than everyone,
Right.
and that he's got it figured out.
And so he's even taking that tact with you as the viewer.
Yeah.
And he's telling you, I did all this awesome stuff. And as it plays out and as the world unravels around him, his outlook maintains. And so you're just waiting to see if he and it will ever fall apart.
Yeah.
And like when the Jenga tower, when the last peg is going to come out, and you see these other people who are caught in, just like you're kind of caught in his web a little bit. There are people who are, their lives hang in the balance, or their careers from the choices or the cases and the manpower and time that they've spent trying to do some actual good in the world hinge on this madman.
Yeah. Egotistical guy too.
Is that mustache real?
Yeah, it's real in the movie. He really grew that mustache. There's a This American Life episode that really goes into the ADM Archer Daniels Midland.
That's the real guy it's based on.
Yeah, well, Archer Daniels Midland is the big company,
company.
that
That he worked at.
right.
Corn.
Corn processing company. And episode 168 is called The Fix Is In. If you want to kind of get a different take on that same story, it's pretty neat. But I guess that's all I'm gonna say about Matt Damon, unless somebody else brings something up in which I need to comment. But does anybody else have any thoughts about Matt Damon? Do they think that Ben Affleck got the raw deal? That he's like,
well, I would have said that like 10 years ago, but I feel like he's really turned it around. And
Yeah,
I feel
I
like,
agree.
and also like becoming a director, I think also helped him out with that. And then let's not forget Project Greenlight, which they did together.
Yeah. They still collaborate, and I think they're
They're
both kind of
bros.
in the
They're
world.
buds to the end, man.
I think maybe taking it a little broader, maybe open. We did kind of joke about it, but what do we think about the whole, like, all right, when it comes to like celebrities taking a stance on something, if it's, my personal take on it, and you guys can spout yours, is if there's someone who obviously is involved and well informed about this stuff, and it's not like a pet project or the whim
Or a
of the
vanity
day,
project.
then like all the more reason. They have a platform, they have a position, even if someone is, if they're being paid to do it and they're going to influence people,
Right,
more
that's an
power
endor-
to them.
Yeah,
That
what
their
if they're
endorsement.
paid? Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, if going back to my pick, they had Ronald Reagan on some like highway safety movies, and him talking about highway safety, and at a certain point, it's celebrity or political sway, but that's using their platform to get something accomplished.
If you're hired for a job, though, that's different. You're in a sense, you could say you're an actor in that capacity.
But at the same time, you're being, usually, if it's for the ad council or something, they may pay you, but they're not going to pay you much. And it's more about, you're putting your face on something. I guess for me, if someone gets up and they have a platform, if they're saying it at their Oscar speech or whatever, as long as they're living it too, and like it's not just like the flavor of the week.
Right, as long as it's not just lip service.
Or,
Yeah, but dude,
then
no,
they're putting
because,
it in the public conscious.
Yeah, but
keeping it
Hank
going.
Williams Jr. lives it, and so does the Motor City Madman,
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. You know what I mean? They live it, and I don't want to hear it. But what I find what is more important than them speaking out is the actual putting the money behind it,
right?
And getting out there and raising money for it. And you know, it's
well,
sad
part of that is
it,
raising money too. Like,
yeah,
you know.
I guess that's true. But it's sad that we kind of live in a time when you kind of have to be this ridiculously, amazingly lucky and successful actor to be able to
and make amazing beef jerky.
Yes,
like Ted Nugent.
that you have the money to give to
right.
to start these things and to make this real change. But you know, I actually know a guy who works for nonprofit organizations, and he helps to, hey, you've got an idea for a charity and a lot of money. Well, I'm going to help you set up the infrastructure for it. That's kind of, he's a part of the teams that do that. And so when somebody like Matt Damon, you know, you were saying if they're well informed, blah blah blah. You know, when he says, hey, I want to make a charity to help bring water to African people, to people in Africa, it's not just him going like, so I'm going to hire my cousin because
right.
he used to be a plumber. You know what I mean? It's like they set up a real organization with real people, and it takes a lot of money, but luckily, you know, that is the do-gooding is writing the checks,
right.
really. I mean, that's what it comes down to in a lot of these cases.
I think more than the, you know, sort of public-facing, I think the back room, because basically once you're a famous celebrity, you have a lot of access to rich and powerful people. And so when you're hanging out with them and you can be like, hey, you know, like, there's these really, like, I'm working on this cause. There's these really cool, like, people who are
anything
in
for
need.
you, Matt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that's also like a place where they're in a position to have influence.
Access and influence, yeah.
And, you know, but I think the stuff that sort of maybe, I don't know. I guess the thing is, it's sort of like when you criticize that stuff, it's kind of like it comes from a cynical place, you know?
When you criticize which
like celebrities representing causes.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, it's like, I don't think, some of them might have taken it on their own, but sometimes the organizations are like, hey, we know you care about this stuff. Would you want to help us
right. You head it up, you
message?
put your name on it.
Or even, hey, will you speak at our rally? Because if everyone hears Scarlett Johansson's coming, even if just because they want to say, hey, I smelled Scarlett Johansson from across the square, then, like, you know, that's like, if that's their modus operandi, they're going to be there with other people. In some instances, those are things where it's more about like boots on the ground, like getting heads counted. But it's also, you know, putting people in a position where they have to listen to something being told to them and force other people to see those things, regardless of what the celebrity is saying. The fact that they're there and being pulled there by the celebrity, and then hearing the actual speaker who, you know, maybe a Nobel Prize winning
right.
Nobel laureate or whatever.
I think it tends to bother people more when it's a more politicized issue, or, you know, where their opinions are divisive. I think because everyone wants to enjoy them as a movie star, and maybe them suddenly becoming political, like, you know, kind of breaks that spell for people. And I think that's when also people are like, just go back to acting, like, you're ruining it.
Yeah, but that's just so too. I mean, that's so one side. I mean,
right?
No,
it's
not
like
one-sided.
it's like you don't want to see them as a person.
What it is it's like, oh, I don't want to hear what, you know, who was the most what Meryl Streep has to say about she should act. She should just go act. It's just like, well, you just elected Donald Trump. That guy, he's just a celebrity. Act. He's just a celebrity. He should just go back to his
businessman.
Yeah, Keith. Right. But the same with, like, so you're gonna have Ted Nugent come on Fox News and tell everybody why celebrities should shut their yappers. You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's just like such a fake.
Well, that's cognitive dissonance. It's just sort of like people saying,
no,
you know, they shouldn't do that, even though we do it.
I know why Ted does that. Yeah. I mean, Ted should stop doing that. I can't enjoy his music anymore.
Yeah,
I like.
Can you take me high enough?
As somebody says that the people who are telling the actors should stop doing that, or something. You know, you could edit this out.
No, do it.
It's like getting
Keep going.
No,
Keep
no,
going.
but like, you know, so the people who are telling the actors that those people should just stick to their jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Just
know?
be a plumber.
Just stay at Walmart.
Yeah, why
you
even
know?
vote? The real thing is that there's money, and these people have money, and that's the real superhero, right, Batman?
No,
You know,
Ben
that's the
Affleck.
real
Ben Affleck.
superhero.
Affleck.
But that's Matt Damon.
All right.
I think he's a swell individual.
In terms of like celebrities, is he the best current celebrity philanthropist? Who's the best?
Oh, who is
Bono, I'd imagine.
Madonna.
No, Bono does so many charities and has raised so much money that it makes people angry. People think that he's self-righteous all the time, you know, and say what you will about his money, you can't deny that the guy has raised so much money to help with AIDS and to help fight hunger in the world. It's pretty amazing.
Trick question. Donald Trump is the answer.
Well, the real answer, Jimmy Carter. Let's face it.
Yeah. Does a good pick, Keith. Matt Damon.
Yeah, and back to the same quandary about celebrities shouldn't talk about politics. It's like, well, you guys always talk about how you hate politicians talking.
Yeah.
So who is supposed to talk about politics? If you get
shut up.
yeah, that's right. Just Joe the plumber. It's just like when a politician talks and you disagree with them, you're like, oh, it's old politics. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why they have wordsmiths like Silver Tongue Kellyanne Conway.
Yeah, it's true. The silver-tongued devil and I.
Matt Damon and Kelly Conway coming to you live.
Well, I have to say when I saw you put Matt Damon on the list, I was like, Matt Damon, do-gooder, what? But no, it makes a little more sense.
No, I was like, Matt Damon, that's right. Oh, he took it. I was like, who am I going to pick now?
Guess I gotta find somebody else.
Scott
Some
Mayo.
other Puerto Rican.
Which, good segue. Next week.
Lorenzo Lamas.
All right.
So, well then.
yeah, good pick,
Thanks.
Keith.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Matt Damon.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Matt Damon said he was disappointed in my performance. Well, Matt, I just saw the Adjustment Bureau, so right back at you, buddy.
I like that movie. I thought that was a perfectly The Adjustment Bureau.
I hope he did too.
I don't even think he saw it. I'll be honest.
Well, he wouldn't be alone.
But is that just come with the territory? I mean, I know actors can be, used to criticism when it comes to your talents or cast in a movie, but when it comes to activism and ideas, it might be different.
Yeah. No, I think I.
I mean, people said, "Well, you send your kids to private school. Why are you even involved in this?"
Well, because I'd want the public schools to if they went back to, if I could find the private school that I send my kids to is the thing closest to this public school that I went to that I could find, and that's why I send my kids to private school. I wish I didn't have to. It's expensive, and I also want my kids to be part of of their local community, and not have to commute to somewhere else to go to school.
I don't mean to bear down on your kids.
No, because that was a criticism. I think it was Jeb Bush.
Such a question, there are many possible answers, such as hard work.
Feel I'm alone in this whole of existence.
All right, so that was the third in our Do-Gooders pick. I was one of your hosts, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at Bored, B-R-E-D, Ghost, G-H-O-S-T. Keith, where can people find you?
People can find me on the internet at earthlingkeith.com. So check it out.
And I'm Julian Cage. You can find me on the internet at Beautiful Jules, Twitter at Beautiful Jules, Instagram.
All right.
How about you, Mr.?
Yep, Matt Rodriguez, and you could see some sketches I do sometimes on Mr. Insta on Instagram or Mr. Draws on Tumblr.
All right. Cool. So before we head out of here, what was new to me this week?
Yeah, what was new to you, John?
I've talked about the Hinterlands Bar before, and I've been going over and playing.
That's not new anymore.
That's not new, but that's a great place. But me and Jules have been going and playing Seafall over there, and on Tuesday nights I've been going and playing board games and running board games over there. It's very fun. It's been, when it's nice out, it's pretty crowded. When it's rainy, it's a little quieter, but it's a good, consistent crew. Been meeting regularly. This will be like as of this taping, probably the 4th or 5th Tuesday. So just going over there.
They're welcoming to people who come and play games?
Yeah, just go sit and play. There's some people running. There'll be some extra games. You can bring games.
Why is it rainy days? Is it because they have cardboard?
They just don't want to leave their houses.
Board games?
I think
it gets all drenched.
I brought them in a paper bag.
It took me all night to make this.
It's all my macaroni is running.
Sorry.
It's mostly just like, it's cold, it's rainy. We're in the swamp summer or the swampy winters that we're gonna have from now on, where it kind of like snows and doesn't accumulate, and then is all wet and 50s. But it's been pretty rainy and kind of like dreary a little bit, and so it's just harder for people to get motivated. Also, it's a weeknight.
But ironically, it's the best kind of day to play board games.
Yeah, it's just a challenge.
Yeah.
I think some people
I guess that was my question,
it's a bit of a hike for some people. Some people are willing to make the hike. Some people are not. It's going to be closer yet for me. But yeah, it's a work night.
Yeah.
And it's at a bar.
But if you live in the New York City area, and Brooklyn in particular, and Kensington,
and you can go to the Hinterlands Facebook, and they post their events, so you can see when they're going to have stuff. And generally, it's just a nice bar too. It's quiet and has a good crew running there. They have some food now. It's a nice bar. And but I run games there regularly now, I guess, since I've been doing it for the past 4 weeks. And the proprietor, Stuart, one of the owners, runs
podcaster.
games. Yeah, he runs games out there. And yeah, that's all. I would check it out.
Yep.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Nice. So gang, next week we are going to wrap up our topic. Our guest is gonna illuminate us on Stickball Hero. Why don't you give us a little teaser of what people should check out next week in preparation, Mister?
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about Roberto Clemente. He was a Puerto Rican baseball player, and it's just one of those things that like.
Oh, you mispronounced bongo.
Oh, what? No. But that's what I'm gonna talk about next week.
Cool. All right. Is there anything anyone should read to kind of like
get
their head around?
Yeah, there was it was a graphic novel. Is it Fantagraphics?
Fantagraphics.
Yeah, they put out a book by Roberto Santiago, and it is what is it? 21. 21. The Roberto Clemente story.
It's available on hard copy, and you can also get it on Comixology, and which I think now is owned by Amazon, so you can just kind of buy it through Amazon on Comixology.
Cool.
Yeah. So you're going to propose that this baseball man, is a do-gooder?
Yes, he is a do-gooder. He didn't show it, but I mean, he did a lot of good. But we'll talk about it next time.
He's no Matt Damon.
He's no
He's Richard Wayman.
he's the model of what Matt Damon does now, I guess.
That's true. All right. Cool. I'm looking forward to chatting about Roberto Clemente next week. To find out more about the stuff we talked about on the show, about Matt Damon, The Informant, Hinterlands Game Nights, and to get a little link to the teaser, what to check out for next week, go to newtoyoushow.com. You can follow us on iTunes. You can also review us or leave a rating. That'd be great. It gets us sort of more up in the charts and more known. Also, share the show with a friend. If there's anything cool we've talked about, share that too, because that's the spirit. That's what we want. Gang, see you next week for the last of Do-Gooders. It may not be new, but maybe it was new to you.
Explosion sound.
Matt Damon.
Pitiful life is all about the music. This pitiful life is all about the music. This pitiful life is all about the music.
With him together forever, without the limitation of time ever again. So the second coming of the Lord is not dead. They're two separate entities.